Thank you very much for joining us on such a wonderful morning, in more than one sense. I'm absolutely sure. Glenn Roeder sitting next to me. I'm delighted to announce that Glenn is the new manager of Norwich City Football Club. Glenn had an exemplary playing career, and his managerial career, latterly with great success at Newcastle, includes significant turnaround situations. So his experience is directly relevant to both the short-term needs and the long-term ambitions of this football club. And his overall performance speaks for itself and commands nothing but respect throughout the game amongst clubs, managers and players alike. So after a long and diligent search, we were delighted, Glenn, we were absolutely delighted to achieve your signature as manager of our football club. And before I finish, I'd just like to say one other thing, and then hand over to you for your questions. And that is just to confirm that Jim Duffy has left the club. And I'd like to thank Jim for his industry and dignity in helping us through over the past few weeks, which has included not only team matters, but of course making appearances in public at the AGM and other fans' situations. And that's been a strong thanks to Jim. But Glenn is the centre of attraction today. He's the focus of everything we're talking about this morning. And unless Glenn wants to say a few words, may I hand over to you for your questions.
Glenn, you like a challenge, obviously.
Sorry?
You like a challenge.
Absolutely. It goes without saying that I've missed not being involved. Certainly at the start of the season, I left Newcastle in May, and the season was virtually was over. Only one game to go, and it was easy to deal with during the close season because everyone's not working as such. But of course, when pre-season came round, already I was itching to get back into the game, and I've waited, I've been patient, and I'm very grateful to be given this opportunity that I'm so looking forward to.
Big challenge, 3 points adrift at the bottom. Is this something that you've had before in your career?
We were 5 points adrift at Gillingham when I took over as a player manager, and the Gillingham was staring the Conference League in the face. It was November time, and we stayed up with a couple of games to go. And I have, as the chairman said, I've got a lot of experience in this situation. So Gillingham, Newcastle wasn't going particularly well at the time, and we managed to turn that around. An opinion at the moment, but I'll be making my own judgment on players over this coming week before the big game, and it is a big game. Every game is going to be big, and it's going to be tough for the rest of the season and over the coming weeks. And although I sought the advice of one person in particular that knows the squad very well, I didn't sought any other advice because I want to make my own judgment on the players and not have that clouded by other people's opinions.
Who was that person?
And he doesn't need to be named. It would be unfair.
Who will be your number 2, Glenn? Do you have anyone in mind?
Yes, I do. We can't say who that is at the moment because he's working at another club, and it would be wrong to name that person until we have permission to speak to him. I don't think that will be a problem. So until we're in that position, we have to, or I have to, say nothing. But hopefully, we'll move very quickly on that.
Also a coach as assistant, that you're also missing a coach here, I think, as well. Will you be bringing another person in?
I will be looking to bring in an assistant manager and a coach. Yeah.
Is that the same as well? You can't name him, or you can name him?
No, I can't, because again, both the lads are in employment at the moment. I've spoken to both the lads socially, I'll say socially, and they are, jumping at the opportunity maybe of coming here and working with me.
Your first game is going to be the local derby. Do you see that as an ideal game to start with?
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't have a better game to start, especially at home. I'm sure by the time kick-off comes, the boys will be ready for it, and it's for me that game, because of our present situation, is a situation where, as far as I'm concerned, it's a win-win situation for us.
What made this such an attractive job for you?
First of all, you've only got to, and I had a little peep outside before I came in here. You look at the stadium, you look at the training ground. Over the past number of years, people behind the scenes have worked very hard to create and purchase a training ground that will be the envy of a lot of Premiership clubs. I've just come from Newcastle, and the training ground at Coney compares very favourably with the Newcastle training ground. And you look at the stadium there, it will be the envy of many other managers that haven't got those facilities to work in. It's a club that is underachieving at the moment. Expectations are higher, which is an attraction for me. I'd much prefer to work for a club that's got high expectations than low expectations, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of turning things around. Obviously, with the help of the players, which at the end of the day are the most important commodity.
Roger, what are the qualities that Glenn has that made you pick you and the board?
His experience, tangible, relevant experience, both as a top-flight player and then as a top-flight manager. And if you look at his performance, his achievements at Newcastle United, 45% of all his games were wins. That is an outstanding performance in anybody's book. And that came after a turnaround situation not dissimilar to the one we're involved in at this football club. So that's the first point. I think the second point is to do with character, clarity, determination, and all of us felt that, and this was a unanimous decision, as you'd expect from this football club, all of us felt that that was the right sort of character to have, to stabilise, to eradicate anxiety and lack of confidence from players, to instill them in a sort of confidence and trust in each other.
Glenn, do you have immediate plans to strengthen the squad, and do you have cash available to do that?
I've always thought it's bad policy to publicly say whether you have cash available or not, because everyone else is listening. And if you when you try to bring players in, obviously people remember that you said you had cash available. So I'd rather not say. But I obviously asked that question at the second interview yesterday, and I was told that if I bring players to the chairman, to the board of directors, they will look at those players, the players I want to bring in, and we don't seem to have a problem in, certainly at the moment, which would suit me as well, loaning players, which would make sense. And I like to be able to use the contacts I have in the game who would want to help me out, who would want to help Norwich City out, and of course when I'm thinking of an attraction of wanting to manage Norwich City, the last home game against Bristol City, there was 24,000 supporters in the ground, a team that was in the bottom three. For me, that's phenomenal, and I need to get to those supporters and make them the 12th man. We've got to start winning games quickly, and we need the supporters, no matter how they feel at the moment, that they'll be in pain, they'll be hurting, and there'll be a time and a place to say whatever they want to say. At the moment, we need them on side. We need them to get behind us, and I think if when I get the players, when the players show that commitment that they want to get back to winning ways, I'm sure we can get the crowd, as I say here at Carrow Road, being the 12th man.